Okay, farmer's gas hookup.
I got another bid from a company in Minnesota, and looked a lot better than the other one, but then I started reading and it says that this is just for the work. It doesn't have any materials in it. So I started calling around about materials and talked to Mark a little bit. I did some rough figuring here on quirks. We need about $10,000 to $12,000 worth of materials. So their total would be right around $44,000.
So that plus materials? Chris?
The 31.5 is
plus materials?
Plus $10,000 to $12,000 worth of materials.
So what are they doing for $31,000?
They're right here. It says NPL to install, test, and put gas service into operation. They dig it, put the pipe in, cover it back up.
Yeah, we can't do any of that. They want to do the whole thing.
Now, if you want to go through this, then I'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Dan Steinkamp's $19,975. And then you add the materials into that. His is about $28,000.
So you're saying $8,000 worth of materials?
Yep. And Doug Steinkamp has about $6,000 worth of materials, so he'd be about
22,000.
3. Yeah, 22, 23. Now this guy I talked to, he told me that Quirks could dig their own trench, and that would save them $1 a foot. And he also said that the DNR and the DOT don't really have any concern with that. It's what they do at hooking it up that is the
Long with lead, right?
Right, that's the major. And he said the backfill is a big deal too. You can't backfill it, have a rock on it, or
So in other words, it's the same price as the other one?
Well, no, not really. The other one was $57,000 for Quirks and $38,000 for Dan Steinkamp and $28,000 for Doug Steinkamp. So it's a little less in each case.
Well, the material here was $1.06 a foot. Isn't that or not? It says pipe.
Yep.
And we come up with about.
Well, there's that $28,000 for Steinkamp. Was that for both of them together? The $28,000.
No, that's just Dan's.
Yeah, that's both together. Material.
Yeah, because that ends up being $11.31 a foot. Quirks is $7.58 a foot.
No, but you got your pipe and then you got your meter.
Yeah.
Mark said the meter can be anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500.
Well, I'm just trying to do it per foot just to get an estimate,
Right.
world.
Well, when you're talking $3,500 a meter though, and you've only got 1,400 feet to go, that's a huge difference. You take the meter off of there, then you can, I didn't realize the meters were that expensive.
Now, how many of these taps would have to be done?
We'd have to do, one apiece. I got those in this price, in these prices that I gave you though.
Now, these abandoned 3/4, is that just on Steinkamp's?
Doug and Dan, yep. And I can't get IAMU to get back to me with any information. I don't think the guy that is going to get back to me we're paying though. So
Questions, council?
I mean, I don't know.
So this material price you got separate from this then?
Yep, I called
Called and got that?
Grubner or whatever it is, Mark gave me that number, and I called down there and asked him what we could get 2-inch pipe for. No, Mark and I were talking, there's little hookup tees and stuff like that that you gotta put on that I don't know. Mark was gonna get that tonight and he didn't get a chance to today, so.
So what's restoration, rock boring, rock removal permitted?
Yeah.
What's restoration?
Restoration has to be planting the grass back. I mean, making it look like it did before. Because they're gonna put it in, backfill it, test it for this price here.
So have you contacted any of these guys about their cost, their share cost?
Talked to them a little bit about it, and Quirks are the ones that really want to do it. But I didn't say what their share was going to be because I don't know what we want to do. I know one thing that we don't want to do is do it and then not get any revenue back.
No, we don't want to give the farm away. This council would like Chris to approach these three and see what they want to do.
We gotta figure out what we
Yeah,
want.
we figure out what we want to do before we do that.
Now, Orland Steinkamp did tell me that he thought, if they had to pay $8,000 to $10,000 to get hooked up, that wouldn't probably be too bad. 10,000 would be almost half of his. So, if we tell them we want them to pay 12,000, I don't know if maybe they'd say no.
It's listed there somewhere. I thought I'd seen that after 5 years that they've got a. Where did I see that?
We haven't passed anything like that. That was just a suggestion.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
This is not a good way around to, there obviously isn't going to be a cheap way to do this. Well, I can understand their point too, of trying to do it right, but.
I guess on Dan Steinkamp's, for instance, if they dug their own ditch, they'd save $1 a foot according to this. And not counting materials, they got bid at $19,975. They're going to save $24.75, so they're going to pay. It's going to cost them $17,500. What exactly are they going to do for that?
Install it, test it.
What's installed?
Lay the line in the
Well, see, you get 500-foot chunks, so you got to fuse those together.
Okay.
So that'd be part of it,
Okay.
and then hook it up at each end. And actually, it'd be only one end because the tap would be an extra $400 to tap the main line.
The electric fuses what they do.
But the total cost on that was going to be 28,000. So then you'd have to take
materials.
Huh?
With the materials.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you got to take your 2475 off that.
Yeah, Dan Steinkamp doesn't want anything to do with boring his own.
Yeah.
Quirks are the only ones that really want to do that. But yeah, they could save $1 a foot by digging the hole.
Now that cost, that $28,000 cost, is that with somebody else digging the line then, Chris?
Well, with
Them doing the
them.
line.
These
They're
guys,
digging the line.
NPL.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Is this something that you want me to put more time into, or is this something that we're not going to look into?
How much are they gonna use? I mean, that's the big
What's,
issue.
how much LP have they used?
much
Otherwise, only
LP
gallons of
have they
LPs
used
they
last
use.
3
Two years ago, Quirks used 45,000 gallon of propane. Last year they didn't use any, 8,000 gallon maybe. So it varies. This year they're not going to use any either. Now if they use 45,000 gallon in 1 year, that would pay for their share easily. It would take a couple years to get our share paid off like that.
So what do we make a gallon, or a cube, or whatever it is?
30 cents.
30 cents for transportation.
For selling gas at cost and charging transportation, right?
Yeah. A therm or whatever, how many, what's that, 0.8 or whatever, point what per gallon? Deal with
Well, it's 30 cents a therm transportation, you make about 12,000 on a
Good, you.
On a good year, yeah.
25,000 gallons of propane would be about 40,000 gallons, or therms. 30 cents a therm, about 12,000.
And we could, you know, we had 2 years like that, we could pay our share off. But if we have 2 years like last year, won't get
Or
nothing.
this year, yeah, it's drying down in the field.
Yeah.
What do you
and what's
when you
our,
say our share, what are you talking our share being half?
Half, that's, yeah, I guess.
Problem is, we stand most of the risk at half.
yeah,
We stand out pretty much all the risk.
and how much extra gas would we have to sell?
During October and November, we don't hardly use any gas in town.
It'd be pretty minimal.
We should think
Yeah,
that.
that'd be pretty low.
And then, like I've said before, they would be on an interruptible service when we need it. They wouldn't be able to dry.
It's not very good for them either.
No, it's a crapshoot.
Late fall, there they said,
It wouldn't be good.
no.
Yeah, maybe that'd be cold. I mean, you know,
For us to be using hot.
yeah.
Which you can just run the fans, keep it cool, I guess.
Yeah, you know, it gets cold in November, but we don't, if you look at our gas usage, we don't use a third of it, a third of what we have.
If they were, all three of these were going full tilt,
They would pretty much use what we have left, all of it.
after the third.
Yep. That would really help out our usage, our curve. I don't know, you know, I don't know.
Somebody, decatherms a month, or
What's
how's
that?
that set up for sure?
Yeah, per day.
Okay.
I think it's 300 decatherms per day. And in the wintertime, we use quite a bit of that. You know, December, January, February, we use quite a bit of it. But then the rest of the time, we don't use any.
Our 4-inch main carries 100 pounds, right?
Right.
I guess our question is, how much do we want to put ourselves out there?
And that's the reason why I suggested the contract with them. You know, make a contract with them that says in the next 5 years, you guys use enough gas to pay for our share, whatever it is. Because they're going to have theirs paid off. I mean, they're saving 50%, you know. That's a lot bigger deal than what we're getting.
But you're looking for a 5-year payback, correct?
Well, you know, maybe 5 years isn't the right time frame.
Well, I mean, like I say, we don't want to drag it out too far either.
No, you know, I mean, maybe 10 years is the right, I don't know what the right number is. I just threw 5 years out there, I guess. But no, we don't want it to be 20 years, because
I don't think you want to go much past 5, do you, Franny?
I wouldn't feel that comfortable doing
I
that.
didn't think so either.
well, if they would use the 8,000 every year for 5 years, that would pretty much cover Quirks, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
And that's a minimum.
that'd be 40,000. No, that'd be 12,000 is all.
No, 24. 8 times 3, 24. You said
8 times 5 is 40.
That's 40.
Times 30 cents is 12,000.
12,000.
So no, it wouldn't quite cover it.
I mean, that's the minimum that we're
Right.
looking at.
I think that's where we need to start, is find out where the minimum that they have to use
Yeah.
a year to make this thing work in a 5-year deal. That's maybe approach it in a contract type deal like that. Because we can't do it if it's not feasible for us either. I mean, in the long run it will be, but it could, you know,
Yeah, it could
it
stretch
could
out
be
to
a
10.
2-year payoff, and it could be a 15-year payoff.
Yeah.
And you want to use 5 years for the time frame, right, Franny? What's the minimum over 5 years that they would have to use?
Yeah.
And how's our contract over so many gallons, or over so many therms, and the price from transportation goes down?
We couldn't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have.
There's a big number
Yeah.
up there for that.
It's like
That's the only ones that can do it.
Yeah, it's a
Cookies get there a couple of months, but that's it.
They do?
Yep. First 20,000 therms, they get 21,000, so not much
Really?
over.
They use over 21?
Yeah,
Wow.
barely.
Then it goes to 15, right?
Then it goes to 35, and then another 15, yeah, you're right, and then 55,000 is the last. Yep.
Okay, so we'll table this until next meeting when Chris has got...
Well, and hopefully I've got that other bid from IMU too. That'll help us a little bit.
Yeah.
I personally think they'll be the cheapest ones, but
So we'll table this one until next meeting, until Chris has a little more info for us.
Yeah.